French Shalom and greetings to you all. As we're now about 3 weeks away, I'd like to continue with a bit about our upcoming holiday of Rosh Hashanah. Now, we still see so many decisions made as political, but disguised otherwise. Rosh Hashanah was an early political decision. It's a holy day, which initiates a 10-day period of introspection. The Torah tells us how the year unfolds, when it begins, when it ends. It begins in March. The Bible's very adamant about that. But we treat this holiday as New Year's, as the beginning of the year. Now, we greet each other with the phrase, Ketiva v'chatima tova, that we be recorded and inscribed for good year. We see cards that say Shana Tova, good year, which we tend to treat or translate as Happy New Year quite often. And when we see someone, we greet them as if it is a traditional New Year with the changing of the calendar like on December 31st, because that's what we're used to. All of these are kind of true, but the truth of them has been distorted. Now, we've always known and fallen prey to the big lie. And I'm not talking about election results. They are what they are. It's not like this is a third world banana republic. We're in a nation founded on Judeo-Christian morals. I'm talking about how when something is said enough, it becomes true. And if you hadn't realized it, that's been kind of dominating the news now over the last couple of years. Now, the big lie is a gross distortion or misrepresentation of the truth. And it has been used primarily as a propaganda technique. Repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth. It's a law of propaganda, and it's often attributed to Joseph Goebbels. Now, among psychologists, something like this is known as the illusion of truth effect. And that takes place all the time. So what is special about this holy day? Rosh Hashanah, head or beginning of the year, it's not New Year's as you think of New Year's. It's almost a hybrid kind of New Year. It does wish a good year, but not really in the physical year sense, no. It's in the sense of the spiritual year, because you get to reset your soul. You get 2 opportunities a year. And this is the reset button. Hence the phrase, Ketiva v'chatima tova, a good inscription and sealing. The 2 equinoxes are the dates for determination of the soul's direction. Rosh Hashanah, the fall equinox, 3 books are opened. The book of the righteous, the book of the evil, and the book of the intermediate. 2 are obvious. Your name is inscribed in one of those books. You look at that mirror of self. You contemplate your life, your status, your standing. And on Yom Kippur, it is sealed. Now, you have the 10 days before it's sealed to take any steps you need to take. And in the blink of an eye, you can move mountains. So it's not your typical New Year. This holiday, biblically called for, but with no real name and no real purpose listed in the Bible, we're only told it's to be held on a specific day. And that date is the first day of the 7th month. Nowhere will you find Rosh Hashanah listed in the Torah. The Hebrew calendar, that first day of the 7th month marks the beginning of Tishrei, which is the sign of the zodiac Libra. The astrological year in the called for first month of the year is named in the Torah, begins in Nisan, the sign of Aries. Now in Hebrew, Libra is Moznaim, which means scale. In ancient times, the scale was used by putting the objects to be weighed on one side and the stones in unit of measurement on the other. In modern times, we use digital scales, and the visual effect of the traditional scales has been lost. But the idea of the scale is to obtain balance. Hence, the scales have been given to Libra. Sign of justice. Because when in exile in Babylon, the Hebrews used the Babylonian calendar. In fact, they used the same names for the months and in the same order, beginning in Nisan, Aries, as the Torah calls for. When they returned to Jerusalem after the exile, the decision was made to use this unnamed holiday, kind of like a holding place in the Torah. It's the only other time of the year when there was pure balance of light and dark, the other equinox, to mark the year. And year after year, we keep telling ourselves, this marks the beginning of the year, and we issue calendars that show the year date change. So it must be true. And we did that simply to distinguish ourselves from Babylonian culture. Now, this is a holiday, as I said last week, a horn blowing. Call us to attention to beware, to listen to that voice of God within. And we all have the voice of God within. And the month of the scales is so apropos. On Rosh Hashanah, this metaphysical action takes place when all of our actions are being weighed. The good deeds, the bad deeds. The scales are examined. According to how the scale tips, the decision is made. Who will live? Who will die? Who will be rich? Who will be poor? Liturgy, so wonderfully set to music by Leonard Cohen. And who by fire? Who by water? Who in the sunshine? Who in the night time? Who by high ordeal? Who by common trial? Just a few weeks, we begin that 10 days of self-examination, which is the opportunity for a new year because it's a new you. It's a time of reflection, of introspection. It's a time to take stock and do a course correction. Now, the great Chauncey Gardiner saw life as a metaphor for a garden. But we can see it as a metaphor for time. There is a spring of life with its new birth, its growth, its development. There's a winter of life when the inexorable death and return to nature occurs. And there's the summer and fall, the two that tend to blend together the longest as we grow in different ways and reflect and modify. But never stop that summer growth. We need to never stop growing. These are the days of the endless summer. These are the days, the time is now. There's no past, there's only future. There's only here, there's only now. You know what? Enjoy the here and now, my friends. May your summers never end. Keep growing. We love to celebrate summer because the weather is good, it's warm, it's sunny, it's inviting, it brings satisfaction. Just like when we gather in our groups, which we do all year as we celebrate a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith. Any and all faith, love any and all love. As we see the commonality of all, the preciousness of each, because we're a community, a chavura, which means fellowship. As we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. Sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody you know, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way you want to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov come together. Hine Matov, Shabbat Hine Matov, Shabbat how good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space so that you can honor and converse with whoever, whatever you believe in. And we all do believe in something. It is a part of your kavanah, your intention. You know, there's that word, I use it every week. It's what you put out to the universe. You put your intention out there. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. And that's what we correct at Rosh Hashanah. Your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of that goodwill, some light, some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. Floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody loves. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal. Or just plain goodwill and love. Focus on them, call their names. And it's not just for people, it's for our pets, it's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. Tikkun Olam, healing of the world. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. We help heal the world because we each do what we can to improve and change our own little corner of the universe. As we change ourselves, we change the conditions of life, and therefore we change everybody around us. And a part of the healing, So we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers always for those in medical conditions. We pray for those who need prayer because prayer is such an effective method of communication with God, of entreating, of helping ourselves, of helping others. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. For Alex, Sarah, for Leanne and Virginia, for Luke and Doria, for Gloria, for Johnny, for Fern, for Ronnie, Connie, for Nina, Danny, for Mary, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everybody you know, for the whole world, for Devorah. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, and goodwill. It's the love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit. Spirit, my friends, never dies. Me. Makor. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Take a life of blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Let us all of our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. We should call upon God to heal as He's healed before. Me, Sheberach, may He who blessed. There, now you know Hebrew. Because all healing's a blessing. So let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now this week, you'll read one of the most interesting pieces in the book of the retelling of the law. It covers female captives, the rights of the firstborn, laws concerning sexual relations, marriage, divorce. This week we read tetze, when you go forth. And we come across a word that's still used to this day, mumser, bastard. Deuteronomy 23:3, a bastard shall not come into the Lord's community, even in the 10th generation. One shall not come into God's community. Now the definition of bastard, it's not our definition. Child out of wedlock. No, the biblical definition was different. It was someone born from one of the listed forbidden sexual relationships. And it carried to the 10th generation. Now that's a long time. That's how strongly their moral code extended into behavior. Now much of this reading is about women's rights, male and female relationships, about the sexual relations, about marriage, about divorce. There's even a part about who's allowed to be present as a representative of God. And we're reminded they must be pure like the sacrifices. And this reading emphasizes decency as defined in that time. We may define it differently at various times throughout history, but here it strongly emphasizes humanity, dignity, the underlying tenet of how we should relate to everyone and everything. Now, I've always been struck by the beginning, actually, of this reading of Deuteronomy 21:11, when you go forth to war. And you see among the captives a woman of comely features, and you desire to take her to be your wife. Now, this phrase, comely features, is an interesting one. Again, we look for where things are the same in the Bible. Well, the same appellation is attached to Joseph in Genesis 39 when the captive Hebrew becomes the object of his Egyptian mistress's lustful gaze. You see someone and are smitten. I just see your face, I can't forget that old place where we just met. She is just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we met. Na, 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 na. Now, throughout the ancient Mediterranean world, captive women of vanquished peoples were assumed to be the due sexual prerogative of the victors. Going back to our talk of the Iliad, I'm sure most of you remember the taking of Briseis by Agamemnon from Achilles at the beginning of the Iliad began the cascade of what was to take place. Perhaps this attitude has permeated through time till even recently. Anyhow, this law now exceptionally seeks to provide for the human rights of the woman who falls into this predicament. Now that didn't stay, but we read about it here. The warrior's in love. He wants her as his wife. So he can't treat her like a slave to be sold. He can't receive money for her from anyone else. And you notice the words for degrading her and for letting her go are the exact same words that are used to describe the Egyptians' degrading of Israel and then letting Israel go in Exodus. The rights associated with these women captives was extraordinary. Now, it does not say you want her as a wife, and that may be why the rights are stronger, but she's to be given time to mourn the loss of her family. She can never be sold. She has all the rights of a wife and is governed by the laws of marriage and divorce, some of which are in this reading. So many roads, so much at stake, so many dead ends, I met the edge of the lake. Sometimes I wonder what it's gonna take to find dignity. Dignity for the people. It was essential. Israel learns from its experience of enslavement. Israel not only celebrates its own release, but it learns to have compassion for others as well. What happened to that compassion, my friends? And in the midst of these wonderful reminders about decency and kindness is the reminder of the law of succession. The law of inheritance must not be altered by favoritism. Deuteronomy 21:15, when a man will have two wives, one loved and one hated, and they'll give birth to children for him, the loved and the hated. The hated will have the firstborn son. Then it will be on the day that he gives what he has as a legacy to his children. And a parent has to give a legacy to his children. Can't give them nothing. He shall not be able to give a son of the loved one the birthright before the firstborn son of the hated one. But he shall recognize the firstborn son of the hated one to give him a double portion of all that he has, because he is the beginning of his might. The legal due of the firstborn is his. This was written into the Torah. This was how life was practiced for thousands of years. It's ironic, because Jacob does in fact take away the double portion from Reuben, who was the son of the less loved wife Leah, and he gives it to Joseph, who is the son of the more loved wife Rachel. In fact, every single patriarch broke this law. Do as I say, not as I do. Now, things have changed. Dogma became dominant over time. And one thing that might have changed but needs to change back is our obligation to care for everyone. To care for the women, to care for everyone, all others. Deuteronomy 22:1, you shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep slipping away and ignore them. You shall surely return them to your brother. If your brother's not close to you, and you do not know who he may be, you shall gather it into your house, and it shall be with you until your brother inquires for it, and you return it to him. You have to give back what's not yours. Do not turn a blind eye to what you see. We're to care for all others, whether we know them or not, as brothers, because we are all brothers. I heard you say, just don't show you can hurt someone, not even though next 60 seconds be like a eternity. Gonna get there low, gonna fly high, tell the truth in the wind, that's up to one big fat lie, under the one. It doesn't even appear to me. People are crazy, times are strange, I'm walking tight, I'm not a rage, I used to care. But things have changed. Well, you know what, friend? Go back to caring. You would want someone to do so for you. But it's not just people. It's everything. Deuteronomy 22:6. When a bird's nest will happen to be in front of you on the road, in any tree or on the ground, chicks or eggs, and the mother sitting over the chicks or the eggs, you shall not take the mother along with the children. You shall let the mother go. You may take the children for you, so that it will be good for you and you will extend days. So you can take them, you can survive, but you've got to leave the mother, because the mother can then have more chicks instead of now wiping out an entire family. It's a reading filled with moral behavior, centered around rules of decency, to slave, to freeborn, to rich, to poor, to indigent, widow or orphan, to native or alien. What happened to us? We can return. We can recognize the commonality. We're all part of the great heart. Yes, my friends, the world's sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light. All who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. We're a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share the ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that we through the fabric of our lives in our efforts to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a great week. Week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. As we set in motion all that happens in our lives, it is our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect. It's all linked. You will always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done. To God, to yourself, to any person you've wronged, ask forgiveness. But always do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those you've hurt as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself? Other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is your home. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith. Just as I have faith in the principle of love. And all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in the ear. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of your real power, it lies in your consciousness and your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Continue to touch and transform the lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. We're all energy. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous. Bless everyone you can. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you and you alone. Never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other, because we're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support we all have or could have. That special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And listen to the voice of God, because God's always talking to you. As you get ready to examine yourself in the next few weeks, and you choose between light and dark, good and bad, there is always light. One more night. The stars are in sight. But tonight, I'm just waiting oh, the moon is shining bright, lighting everything inside. But tonight, the light will shine. My friends, the light will always shine. Just open your eyes. Feel the warmth of love. Thank you for joining me. Celebrate freedom. Celebrate love. Let the world know you walk in faith and in trust in yourself. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care and have a great week.